And actually the first blessing, you know, you think like, oh, I finished the first blessing, I've been there, done that, you know, I'm there, I'm blessed now with the second blessing. So the first blessing's all done. But actually, the first blessing is like the foundation for the second blessing and for the third blessing. But it's also, I mean, which means it's not just a stepping stone, like you step, and now you left that stair and you're on to the next ones. The first blessing is always going on. These are all simultaneous blessings. So we always are striving to fulfill the first blessing, or to fulfill it and practice it, which means mind-body unity, centered on God. And Father always used to ask, oh, is there anybody here who has achieved mind-body unity? And nobody ever raised their hands. So not easy. Nobody really achieved the first blessing. So, so mind-body unity is actually that's the foundation for the third blessing, because your body is the microcosm of the physical world and the spiritual world. So if you have mind-body unity, then you have dominion over the physical world and spiritual world, which is the third blessing. And also, the first blessing is living for others, which means that's a foundation for the second blessing, which is living for others, which starting with your spouse, or building from your spouse, or culminating or effective in your relationship to your spouse. So to be one with God in everything you do, that's the first blessing. So how do we do it? How do we accomplish it? And I remember Father used to say there's two ways. One is you strengthen your mind, it's mind-body unity. One is you weaken your body, because your body is fighting your mind. Your body's tired, your body's hungry, your body's, thinking about itself. And so that preoccupies your mind, your consciousness, because your body is very important to us. So Father says, weaken your body. So because all that energy and all that demand, all the demands from the body, even economic demands, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough this, that, all those demands preoccupy your mind. So first thing, one method is to weaken your body. So, and that's the path of religion, is fasting, especially fasting, weakens your body. And it doesn't have so much. And also a life of poverty and chastity and obedience. That's a monastic way. Poverty, a life of, the first one, a life of poverty. Think about that as an ideal for the first blessing, a life of poverty. Anybody here want to have a life? Anybody here has a life of poverty? Anybody wants a life of poverty? But it says a life of poverty, chastity, and obedience. What about chastity? That's part of the first blessing too. Okay, so fasting, weaken your body, also working very hard, rigorously hard, working hard for others. Putting all and that's how you end up in poverty, because you're putting all the worldly needs, the worldly concerns and opportunities aside, and you're working for others all the time. So that's another way to weaken your body. And you put yourself, when you weaken your body, when you're fasting, you just put yourself in front of God. You just need God more and more. I can't survive. Or in poverty, I can't survive without God. It gives God a chance to act in your life. When everything's all fine, then you don't need God. Everything's fine. So when everything's not fine, that's when we really need God. Like Father said, God narrows down. He took Noah and Abraham and Jacob and Moses and these examples. God just narrowed down their life until they could only go to God. They had no other resources. Also, physical illness also is a part of this. Returning resurrections. How do our ancestors resurrect? Our evil ancestors. Good ancestors, they guide you to the Messiah and so forth and so on. What about evil ancestors? They will make you sick. That's what the principle said. Or they will give you, visit accidents upon you. And you're grateful. And you endure it, and you go, and that's the way they resurrect, and also we resurrect. So that's weakening the body when you're ill, when you have an accident, when you lose everything. Evil spirits. Returning relative to resurrect the evil spirits. Okay, so weaken your body. That's on the one. The other side is strengthen your mind. So, strengthen your mind. So prayer conditions, strengthen your mind. So how do we strengthen our mind? What does it mean to have a strong mind? Strengthen your mind. What Father meant was strengthen your what? Well, your
knowledge.
What?
Knowledge.
Your knowledge. Yeah, your knowledge, of course, strengthen your mind. I think it means focus your mind. It's like focusing your mind. Meditation is kind of like focusing your mind on God. And faith and hope. I wrote down hope. So Father was always praying. He was strengthening his mind by praying all the time. Paul says, pray ceaselessly. And Father said, if I wasn't sleeping, and he hardly ever slept, I was praying. I was always praying. While Father was doing the writing Wali Wamba, he did what he had to do to build a little hut and to survive with Wamba Kim. Otherwise, he was just praying. He was writing and praying, praying and praying and praying. He wasn't witnessing. He was praying. And then when he finished the Wali Wamba and he came down from the Hill Rock of Tears, there was a woman there waiting for him, wanting to meet him. So, anyway, that's the prayer, it's always praying. And then I think having a strong mind to me means having hope. Having hope. No matter what happens, we have hope. Paul said that the hope is the substance of things unseen. What is it? Substance of things unseen. There's two of them, but that's one. The substance of things unseen. You don't see anything there. Your hope is the substance of that. And God's hope was to have children, true Adam and true Eve, and to have a universe, and that's all God had was a hope. And the universe came to be as substance. The substance of God's hope is the universe. So we also have hope. There's lots of self-help and motivational stuff. Hope, just focus on your vision, your dream, and it will be substantialized, that kind of thing. So hope is very, very important. But what are you going to hope for? Some people hope for materialistic things. I hope I can have a lot of power. I hope I can be wealthy. I hope I can, all these kinds of things. That's the wrong kind of hope. That hope will destroy us. A self-centered, that's materialistic, self-centered ideal. Okay, so hope for the ideal. This brings to mind, for me, there's an ideal for yourself, for me, that I can become a true son of God. That I can unite my mind and body. I can be totally at home in my body. I can be totally one with everything, and I will have no hard feelings. Nice song. No hard feelings at all. Just a burst of love. To become that kind of person. Completely valid. Then there's also hope for the society. I want to see an ideal world. I think it can happen. I think an ideal world is possible. If I can give my life and find the way. So this brought to mind a memory I have. There was back in the I think it was 1969 or something like that. There was a huge demonstration in Berkeley, California. And I lived about an hour or so away. It was like the all anti-war demonstration to end all anti-war demonstrations and to take over the university, marching around through, and there was a lot of, it's kind of like today in Charlottesville and all that, there were a lot of police, there was a lot of, worry that it's going to get violent. Maybe that's when they made People's Park in Berkeley. They kind of took over a parking lot that belonged to the university and said, this belongs to the people. So actually it's a couple of blocks away from the campus. But they just sat there. They occupied this parking lot. And the city fathers and mothers at Berkeley said, and the university said, okay, you can have the parking lot. And it's still there. It's called People's Park. And, the city, it's a park. Okay. Anyway, there's this huge, so I was sort of, and a friend of mine was sort of, we don't want to be in that march. There's going to be, it could be violence and all that kind of stuff. But we want to go there when the march is over to see what happened afterwards. So we decided, it was on a Welcome Caroline. I think it was on a Saturday, it was on a weekend, so we hitchhiked down, we hitchhiked around, we went through Marin County and down to San Francisco, and we ended up in Berkeley in my friend's house there. And there's 3 or 4 guys, I forget, in the kitchen talking about what would an ideal society look like. They were like talking about, and no, whoever thought, I never thought, they just, because of the march or whatever, what would an ideal society look like? And they were kind of sitting there, we're kind of like, well, it would be like this, it would be like that, it would be like, we were thinking about that. Didn't get very far, but it stuck in my mind and planted a seed in my mind. Yeah, ideal society, why not? We can make an ideal society. This world, this life isn't just about getting a job and fitting in, and it's about, why not try to make an ideal society? Okay, now, but this is the problem, because most young people then, as of now, we think about an ideal society, and they devote their life to an ideal society, they go to the left. Marx this is the problem with Marx, because you can feel like, or pretend like, you're a really righteous person, because you're seeking an ideal society. You're living for others. And if it takes violence, so be it, that kind of thing. That's where Marx ended up. Very right. And so people who start out to move to the left, they started very idealistic. We're going to make an ideal society. And who can disagree with that? But materialistic, that's a problem. Okay, so hope for the ideal. So the danger is, but still we have to hope for the ideal society. But first we have to realize, if I'm not an ideal self, I'm not going to make no ideal society. Because I did go on a couple of marches. I marched on our own campus in Davis, which is a pretty sedate, conservative campus, but still there was march. And we're going to march on the administration building and take it over. And then, for what? I'd be against the war, against ecological depredation, all this kind of stuff. Earth Day, So the administration decided to give everybody the afternoon off. They left the building, and we all just marched into the building and stood, sat around in the lobby, and just sort of nothing happened. Nobody knew. Well, what do we do now? We just kind of such an aimless and pointless event. But I went home. I somehow knew that people, I wasn't close friends, but I knew the people who organized the march. So I went to their apartment that night, and to find out what's these really great people. They know something I don't know, and it was just pointless, aimless. They didn't know nothing. So I went. Christine Froelich, Christine Froelich. She went to a big march in Washington D.C., huge march. And she thought, this is so fantastic, it's love, it's peace, everybody's so high and happy and everything. I want to meet the people who started this march. She gave me this testimony. Whoever did this march, I want to congratulate them, I want to meet them. So she saw on the edge of the mall or wherever, a bunch of trailers. They must be there. So she went to the first trailer. Or did you guys start this march? And they said, well, no, we didn't. It's down the way. It's another trailer. So she went to several trailers till finally she got to the place, the people who started really planning the march. And they said to her, we get our orders from Moscow. And she was like, wow, okay, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Okay, so ideal society. Okay, so for true hope, yeah, you realize I gotta make an ideal self before I'm gonna make an ideal society. We need both though. Because if you become a Christian, a Buddhist, gonna go that way, you just focus on, I'm gonna be an ideal self. I'm gonna make an ideal self. The world is like, and this world is illusion. Or this, yeah, for Buddhists, Hindus, the world is illusion. It's eternally screwed up. Why? Because material is clunky, and it dies, and material things are bad, and so, basically, it's illusion. This world is just illusion. You just got to get your way through this world like that, enlighten yourself. So that's the Eastern way. The Western way is, yeah, the world's pretty good actually. Jewish, Christian, world is good. God created the world, but it's going to be screwed up and sinful until the Messiah comes again. And then, well, when's the Messiah going to come in? I don't know. But I have no idea. But I don't know when it happens, like that. So, so both avenues are not going to work. Got to look for the ideal self in the context of creating an ideal society. Okay, so that means you got to become a seeker. A seeker. You got to seek. You got to become a seeker. I saw a bumper sticker yesterday. It said, "Inquire within." You know, there's a little Buddhist symbol there. Inquire within. And that was good. True Father became a seeker. He was a seeker, a sort of a young, child. And then he met Jesus. And from the time he met Jesus, he became a seeker, I think. He had the mission, he got the call, but Jesus didn't tell him everything at all. He said at the end of his life, at the last speech, Ava Women's UN, in the side comments, Jesus said, "Will you come with me to the wedding?" I want to come with me to the wedding. And this is very mysterious, right? Come with you to the wedding. That's a little clue. So he's a seeker. He's seeking. Seeking, we need to find a model. Who's our model? Who is a model for Father? Jesus, of course. I think Buddha's a model. Buddha's a model. Muhammad's a model for, peace be upon him, for Muslims. But really, Father could see there's a limit to Jesus, limit to all these people. Who is ultimately Father's model? I think Adam and Eve before the fall. Adam before the fall. That's the model. That's where when Father starts to talk about what we got to do, he starts with Adam and Eve. And God, Adam and Eve. Here's what God wanted for Adam and Eve. That's our ideal. God's hope for Adam and Eve. God's hope for human beings. Adam and Eve before the fall. Okay, so Adam and Eve before the fall had an ideal. They started with an ideal. They had two things from God. One was an ideal. Be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. Big vista, big horizon, big hope, be fruit, etc. Big blessing. Then, what was the second thing they had? A rule. Don't eat the fruit. A do not. A no. They had a yes and a no. Life and death. Choose life. So this is another element, and very important to God. Commandment, don't eat fruit, means don't have sexual life. Means deny your sexuality. Don't touch, don't look, as Reverend Hahn used to say, right? Don't touch, don't look, don't think, don't do nothing. Celibate. So, that's the rule to achieve the first blessing of celibacy. And it's my conviction that no matter what else Adam and Eve did, as long as they maintained their celibacy, they would have achieved the first blessing. It would have happened. Maybe Adam would have been a very spiritual kind of guy. Maybe he was a very practical kind of guy. Whatever, it didn't matter. As long as he kept, maybe he's very intellectual, maybe he's very emotional, maybe he's very, will, something like that. Adventurous, athletic, or just likes to look at insects, As long as they kept celibacy, they'd achieve the first blessing. So that's my conviction for us also, for young people. As dull and as simplistic and as yucky, or not yucky, but anyway, challenging as it is, because it means you really deny yourself, which means actually Adam and Eve were denying each other at a certain point. They're denying, I'm denying that Eve is beautiful. I'm denying that I have any feelings toward her. I'm denying all of that. I'm putting it aside. What I think, and Eve had to do the same for Adam. Should have. I don't like that guy. The yucky period. Yucky, when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, girls are yucky. When you're 4 or 5, they're fun. You don't even know if you're a girl or boy, I don't know what's what. But anyway, you get to be that age, it's yucky. They had to prolong that period of yuckiness. Until they could achieve the first blessing. Some chain of thought here. Yeah. So Eve's becoming really beautiful, right? What did Eve look like? Picture Eve in your mind. There's these paintings from the medieval period. There's paintings of Eve. Does she look really beautiful? I don't know. Maybe. What's beautiful? Worldly idea of beauty. No, that's irrelevant. Who knows what she looked like? Okay. Or what Adam looked like? They were son and daughter of God. What I think is that, anyway, no matter what she looked like, she was becoming more and more beautiful to Adam. And she knew it. And she knew that what Adam had to do was, and she had to do, was follow the commandment. I think Eve should have come up with the first invention, which was clothes. Before the fall, she would have covered herself. This is not for you now. This comes later. Cover yourself. Let Adam cover himself too. And therefore clothes would be the result not of shame, as it turned out, but of modesty. In obedience to the commandment. So the rule has both elements. Weaken the body. The rule, the commandment. There's a famous book now, Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. It's apparently a worldwide bestseller. It's being translated into 40 languages or something. Anybody read it? No, I haven't read it. But it's really popular. And he's a strong conservative, as far as I know. And my son-in-law read it, or knows about it at least. He watches the podcast of Jordan Peterson. And so 12 rules. But God gave one rule. And but the point is, rules are important. And apparently among young people, this book is really, you've heard of it, Wanjan? 12 Rules of Life? 12 Rules for Life?
I'm not familiar with that.
No. Okay. Maybe I've been misinformed about this one. But anyway, I read that. Anyway, I think rules are important. And the commandment especially. So by virtue of that rule, they weakened the body, they had to weaken the body, they had to deny the body, and they had to focus on the ideal, on the future. So, yeah. So that's what I wanted to say. And again, the first blessing is a lifelong pilgrimage. Even though we have marriage, blessing, family, and substantial, life, material life, etc. Like Bob's prayer, it's such a good prayer, really seeking for God's Word, right? God's love, God's Word, God's presence every day, no matter how old we are. Let's keep going with that ideal and try to fulfill that commandment and help our children do the same. Okay, please join me in prayer. Our beloved Heavenly Parents, true parents of heaven and earth and all humankind, Father, let's accomplish your will, Father, with all of our hearts, all of our strength, all of our soul, and all of our mind, Father. And unite together with you, with brothers and sisters, and strive just to become people who can be channels of your grace and your goodness, Father. I know there's so much more, Father, you wanted to say about the first blessing, Father. Father, dominion over the angels, dominion over the earth, Father, dominion of mind and body. And I can't say so much, Father, because I haven't done so much, Father, but each person here, Father, knows true parents, Father, and a true father, and true mother. Fulfill the first blessing, Father, and second and third, Father. Completely perfect, ideal Adam and Eve, Father. Father, that we can emulate, Father. And as far as this world is still in the course of restoration to indemnity, Father, Father, their life is suffering, Father. And we emulate that, Father. But also their life is victory through suffering, victory of love, Father. And we want to emulate that as well, Father. Father, genuinely, Father. Father, genuinely, authentically, Father. Father, we know that everyone, Father, goes through so much suffering in life, Father. It may be different form, Father, but we all go through loss, suffering, tribulation, attack, invasion, Father, and Father, and so we pray for each other, we support each other, because we know that you are a God who is guiding us through this everything, Father. We avail of tears, Father. Father, and it's not, and especially when it's not tears for ourselves, but for those whom we love who are suffering, Father. Father, we pray for all of our families, Father, and on the regional, sub-regional, national, everywhere, Father. Thank you, Father, for so much blessing. And I report this in the name of Tyler, Nahum, Hendricks, blessed family. Amen. So let's have a short prayer.